Hello, and welcome to Traditional Stitches FlossTube video number 47. I'm Janice Spencer, the owner of Traditional Stitches, and this with me today is Rose Heck, our Stitch Along leader. Hi, Rose.
Good morning, Janice.
How has your stitching month been this month?
It's been up and down. Let's put it that way. I've had some great progress and then I've stalled.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess overall, you don't really see the progress unless you have photos. So I think I've made progress.
Do you do a good job of taking pictures as you go along?
Lately, not. I've been kind of willy-nilly on that. I used to be really good at it, and I need to start getting back into it again to, I don't know, to document, I suppose. So, yeah. But I know I've made progress, but I've been all over the place. I haven't stuck to one thing entirely. So I know, who am I? I don't necessarily do that. But
you got to go with what you're feeling, how you're feeling
I'm starting to think that, yeah. So how about you? Have you made any progress?
I've made some progress on Jonson, so I will show you that, but it hasn't been a very stitchy month for me. I got moved. My condo's gone, so I feel like I was packing for the last 4 months, so all of a sudden that's great. But now finally we have some nice weather, so it's time to get out in the yard.
This weekend they're predicting 24, 25 degrees, sunny. I keep on waiting for the bottom to drop again and that they're going to say next week it's going to be snowing.
Oh, well, May long weekend is coming, so
I know. But everything is so green and the trees are budding. And I actually have to check my rhubarb to see the progress. I'm kind of waiting for fresh rhubarb. And then I think we're going to start seeding our little planter beds with some greens.
Nice. It's nice to have those on hand.
Yeah.
I am getting ready to leave next week on Jeanette Douglas cruise. So I need to do a big sprint here to get my yard ready to leave. And then I'm not going to plant my garden until after I get back. So,
okay.
Yeah.
With Alberta weather being that it is, it's not really, a loss. You're in a position too where you have a longer growing season. So you're probably okay.
I was talking to Amy Mitten the other day, and she is a couple hours north and west of us, so a little bit more in the foothills. And she had already planted out her onion seedlings. So she said it was like planting tiny little hairs in her vegetable garden. And when she was done with them, she didn't actually really care anymore whether they survived or didn't survive. So
yeah. It is hard when you have those tiny little hairs of seedlings. So, you just about don't see what you've done. But Amy lives just 40 minutes west of me, and we pretty well are in the same climate zone. They will get a little bit shorter growing season just because they're right against or almost against the foothills. So they get a little more, but there's not much difference between hers and my growing season. So
life in Alberta, hey?
Yeah, exactly. Wait 5 minutes.
Yep.
I think most places can say that though.
Yes, these days, that's for sure. So you'll notice that I am filming again against the very boring wall. And so I've decided that part of my problem is that I am filming these videos on an ancient laptop and the camera is just doing its own thing with color. So this morning, before we were going to record the video, I decided that I was going to do Zoom on my iPad. Well, it's more than a 15-minute learning curve. So hopefully next time I will Zoom on my iPad and the color will be much better because I did test this location with both my laptop and my iPad and the picture is way better. So that's the plan for next month. So whether I actually get it done, we'll see. But a note to yourself is don't try to have the learning curve so close to your time frame.
Fair.
Yeah. Alrighty, so did you get your month number 3 of Ann Jonson?
Oh, yeah.
I
did. Yes, I did that. And that actually wasn't too bad for the stitching amount. So I haven't looked at this for a while. So bear with me. Okay, so for everybody, that was the third month. It was sort of a mirror image to 1 month, with the exception of different colors. So pretty easy. At least I thought it was. After month 2, it was
Yes,
a breeze.
I
I'm loving all the, sorry, go ahead.
poked in on the Facebook group, and there's still some grumbling and mumbling about those windows.
And
So.
yeah, I was going to interject that. And for those that are maybe watching and still grumbling and bumbling, you know, just keep on sharing, keep on grumbling, because you will get through it.
Yep.
So.
And it's a great place to look for help. But the other thing is that in our, specifically our most recent FlossTube video, which would have been number 46, and even a little bit in the video before, we did talk about some strategies and ways to attack those windows and that stitch. So if you are running up against that, then go back and watch those videos, and you should find some good information there.
Yeah, and I mean, I just thinking through all of this in the last month or so, and listening and hearing what people are saying about strategies, I've kind of developed some of my own strategies in theory. I haven't tried them yet, but should anybody have some difficulties, yeah, fire it on Facebook, and you know, as a collective hive, we will help people through whatever.
Yeah.
So
the way to find our Facebook group, if you're not already a member, is to search Facebook for Ann Jonson. So Ann doesn't have an E, and Jonson doesn't have an H. So you need to make sure that you spell it properly to do the search and find it. And so this is our current Hands Across the Sea traditional stitches exclusive limited edition sampler. And this is the photo of what she's going to look like when she's done. And so we just love her. And every time we talk about it in a video, or somebody posts a really good progress picture on the Facebook group, we get a flurry of activity of orders. So I'm just thrilled that everybody is loving seeing her so much and joining us on this. So
there is one gal that has started month 4, and I'm maybe getting ahead of myself here, but she's changing it. And she was like, do I have permission to do this? It's like, go for it. And I'm loving what she's doing.
yeah.
So she knows who she is.
Yeah, I'm going to call her out. So her name is Helga. So if you go into our Facebook group and you look for Helga's posts, then you'll see how she is changing up. It's this band in here, which is what I'm currently working on. And she's adding a whole bunch of different motifs and fun things to it that are more important to her. So good on you, Helga, for doing that.
There is a name for when things are out of proportion. They're disproportionate to, and I don't remember the name, but she had put in a swan and she took it out because she said it was too big. And I wish in hindsight it had said to her, that is how the little girls would have done it. Things are not to scale. You'll have a big cat in a small house and a big tree and a, you know, so.
Yeah, if you look on a tapestry or a 17th century pictorial embroidery, you'll see that for sure. So it's all in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly. So
yeah,
I will show you. So of course I'm just up to 3 months, the 3rd month, because I'm not allowed to go further. So bring it in. It's a little bit bright, but that's the 3rd month so far.
Yeah, it is such a beautiful sampler.
It really is. And even that unto itself is a standalone. There's a lot of people that pull elements. They change things. They will do. So for somebody that, if they don't want to do the whole thing, that could sit as a drum. So lots of ideas, lots of ideas. I think I've been stitching for 50 years, but I'm still learning. And these last couple of years that people are changing things, pulling things out, making their own thing, changing how it's the elements and stuff on and on. It's like, wow, that's really great. So keep on.
Yeah, for sure. So the one thing that I did want to say, I'll show mine in a sec, but I am chugging down one of the borders of the sampler. And what we all know about borders is not to get complacent and not count them, right? Exactly. So one of the things that we did with this stitch along for the Ann Jonson chart is we sent everybody who bought a physical copy of the chart an email with a PDF of the whole chart in one vision that you can put onto your device or your computer and blow up the sections that you're working on. And then you don't have pages of overlap. So I particularly appreciated it in the border that I was working because this is one page of the border. You can see that the line of overlap is there and it doesn't show the whole vine there. And then it carries on down to this page. So those, and especially where four corners come together, that always throws me for a loop. So with the PDF, there's no page overlaps and you can just zoom into that particular section, count them out and race right along. So
yeah,
we'll definitely be keeping on doing that.
Yeah, and I think that I can't remember where there was an overlap between month 2 and month 3. And I got a little grumbly and then I went, wait a minute, I have that PDF. And so that was really helpful. And the other little thing that I've never done before that I'm sure the rest of the world has done is in this border, I've counted ahead of time the area that I want to stitch, 16, 13, 15, just so that I don't have to forget about that and assume. So it's already down. And that's a very simplistic child thing, but it works for me.
Well, and sometimes efficiencies just make a difference.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So little tricks, tips and tricks to make your stitching journey that much more pleasurable.
Yeah, and we all like to make progress and see that.
That's
so I'm going to show you mine here, and my camera on my laptop's probably going to do really ugly things to the color.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, that is.
A little bit better if I do that, but
yeah.
So you can see that I've kind of made my way down the borders on the edges. And then I'm doing this little band here, which is different than anything that's happened so far in the sampler, because it's just a whole bunch of little motifs of trees and deer. And
I love her randomness. I'm actually looking forward to doing this. And yeah, it seems to be mostly deer, but I'm trying to figure out what to make on the left-hand side. Oh, and there's more of them. So maybe it's deer with young ones.
Yeah, it could be.
I think.
Yeah.
It is what you make of it.
Yep. And so then we'll talk about this section when we get to it, because I am jumping ahead because my job is to get a model stitched for the shop. But as you can see, I'm not very far ahead. So I'm falling down on that job, but meh.
Well, Nashville is behind you now. Things maybe have just slowed down a little. Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, so, but it's fun and I love it. And I can't wait to stitch on it when I get a chance. So, yeah. And so in the last video, you and I both showed our finishes of the Hands Across the Sea Samplers Hannah Campbell chart. And in the meantime, we've both had ours framed. So I just wanted to show off the differences in the framing choices that we made. So you go first.
I was going to say, you go first for a change.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So let me see if I can get some non-glare. Anyways, I'm really happy with this color of the frame. I think it goes really well with the threads. It's quite similar to the one that is shown on the cover of the sampler, but without the gold.
Okay.
What's that called? Fillet.
Yes, it is a fillet.
Yeah.
Is it a beaded fillet? I can't remember.
No, it was flat.
Okay.
Yeah. But so anyways, I'm really happy with it. And it hasn't been to the shop yet, but it will go there when I go to work tomorrow and hang on the wall for everybody to see.
Perfect. Looks really good.
Hannah Campbell.
Edie, as always, does an excellent job. So good.
Yep. Yes, if you ever need a framer in Calgary or the Calgary area, we are more than happy to recommend our local framer. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. And yours?
Well, I'll tell you a little backstory. I think a lot of people know that I do my own framing. Not, I enjoy it. And so I had one frame that it was an antique frame. It was a little bit big, but I thought I can do it. And I had another frame in my stash that I had nothing that would fit in it. And I went measuring and I went, you got to be kidding. This fits like a glove. And this frame, I have a really good friend that used to be a framer. And she is also a songwriter. And she had a song in it. It ended up at the thrift store. And I picked it up for a song. So, and it's, what's the word for it? It's over the top. How's that? So
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so that's my piece. And you can see it fits close, but not so.
No, but it's almost like the pattern in the wood mimics the border of the sampler.
I know. It was made
Cool.
for it. So pretty tickled. I love how sometimes things just happen. And because she used anti-reflective glass, I took that sticker off and put it on. So this, and then my daughter, when I had it laid it out, she came to the house one day, and this is documentation. So I've documented all the information. She wrote on a piece of paper and put it on. She said, gorgeous. So I cut it out and I stuck it to the back of the frame piece. So I have another piece. I have a granddaughter that stitched on. It was Rosa Sugars, and I had her stitch a few stitches. So I need to print that piece off, that picture, and put it on the back. All that to say, if you have anything to document, no matter how little or big, put it on the back of your pictures. Someday it will, it may not mean so much now, someday it will to somebody.
Yeah. Well, even your own trip down memory lane, I think if we're thinking more current times, I think that that's got value too. Because you look at your samplers that you've stitched on the wall, and I date all of my samplers, and I can't believe so much time has passed, or sometimes in some periods how much I actually got done that year and that kind of thing. So I enjoy that. So did you do the Hands Across the Sea label on the back of that yet?
Yeah, that's the documentation I was talking about. And and the
yeah, of course.
So, I don't glue it on the back, because if I ever want to look at the colors, I use those corner things for photos. Right. So that might be my undoing someday, as it might let go, but I'll probably be dead and gone and not care. So
sadly, that might be the case. That happens.
So
all right. Well, I think that the Facebook group for the Hannah Campbell sampler, it's a 15-month stitch along, and I think they've got to be just past the halfway mark.
They are definitely past, and I think they're done in August. Because they started
in the springtime, I think, and it was a 15-month.
Spring. I can actually specifically pull that up because I document. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I feel like it was 2023 April.
But it was a fun stitch. I really enjoyed that.
It really was. It was challenging. It's okay though.
Yeah, good. All right, so now this is the part where I usually do our in-stock hand-dyed linen parade, but we're in kind of a glut period in the shop where everything is in the air, in the mail system, on its way, but I don't actually have new hand-dyed linen to show you. We had a great big box of Lakeside arrive this week, but of course, all of it went filling advance orders, and there was almost nothing left. So advance orders are the way to go. We fill them from oldest to newest, but that box of Lakeside was back out the door the same day it arrived. We have a shipment of needle and flax that should arrive Monday or Tuesday, and it might be the same situation there.
Okay.
So, and then all kinds of things on order and coming soon. And so I'm going to do the specifically non-hand dyed linen parade. So I grabbed a color that I thought is really interesting and is new, and then a whole bunch of legacy linens, because I think that some people don't get to see the legacy linens. So I'm going to try and do the parade in front of the boring gray wall and just see how the colors show, but that's the plan.
Okay.
So this first one that I want to show is a newish color from Zweigart that's called agave. So yes, so this is 36 count agave, and it was used in the Nashville release from
Any bees?
Annie B's that's called Spring Green Pears.
Yes.
That's been really super popular, and it is stitched on this in a Dinky Dyes color of silk called Pearl that looks like pearl, so it's white and it just shows beautifully on it. So we have a whole bolt of this agave in 36 count that is a little bit hard to find, but if you've been looking for it or you really like the color, it's going to be in the in stock linen parade link that I'm going to post below the video, and you can order it. Isn't that pretty color?
It's really, really nice. I like that. I can see a lot of applications, even reproduction samplers.
Yeah. Ones with backgrounds that you maybe don't want to stitch. It's not quite
Exactly.
there, but
yeah, that could be one.
Yeah. All right. So then the legacy linen, and this is not really in any great order because I was playing with Zoom and iCloud this morning instead of putting my linens in order. So
it's okay. Okay. We forgive you.
Yep. So we've used lots of legacy linen for our hat stitch longs, and the body of this linen, like the hand of it, is just beautiful. It's nice and dense and a little bit heavier than some linens, and so we really like it. And sometimes every sampler doesn't call for hand-dyed linen. Sometimes you just want something that is going to be in the background and support your colors and support your design. So we have got good hunks of each of these that I'm going to show you in stock. So if you've been looking for something or you want to stash something, go ahead and order it because we've got it. And while I'm here recording today, we have another great big shipment of legacy linen from Access Commodities that's arriving to the shop. So we do have more colors in stock than what I'm going to show you here today. So, okay, so this is one of my favorites. It is 37 count Russian tea cake. And I do believe that this is the color that we did the Ann Morrison sampler on.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Come on.
Rose checking her wool.
I know it's oh, there she is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, 37 count, which works really beautifully with Swadd Alger or DMC or any of the hand-dyed cotton threads. And yeah, just a beautiful, beautiful color. Neutral, creamy.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of a new color. It is called Smoke Signal. And it's 37 count as well. And it kind of is coming across here, maybe like a dark version of light mocha. I guess it's nice and brown, but just really nice. And I'm going to pet them all, so you'll see me petting them. Okay, this one is 38 count Cloister Cream, and it is also a relatively new one. And this one is one of the yarn dyed ones where the warp and the weft threads are a little bit different of a color. So I don't know if this is going to
see.
So you can see a little bit of white in with the natural. Yeah. So kind of, if you were looking for an authentic kind of backgroundy color that was interesting, this would be really great for that.
That's interesting.
Cloister Cream. This one, Druid Blue. Yeah, nice denim-y. Yeah, just think of all the smalls are the things that pop into my mind, but anything that's contrasty, like I still haven't started from Nashville, but I do want to start the Botanical Bee from Hands On Design. And those colors, the bright colors, would just pop on something like this for a background.
Great potential for that one. I love that color.
Yeah, and if you didn't want to do spring green pears, you could do spring blue pears and also use the pearly silk thread on that.
I know.
Yep. This is 38 count eiderdown, it's called, and I would say it's bright white.
Oh yeah.
Like B5200 kind of a white.
Oh yeah.
But
Yep.
so the other thing about these legacy linens is that because they have such body and stability, they are good for embroidery, like non-counted work. They hold up to that kind of work quite nicely. Sometimes you will still want to use a stabilizing fabric in the background for heavy crewel work and that kind of thing, but they make really nice backgrounds for hand embroidery. This is 38 count Himalayan fog. It's almost the same color as my wall.
Yeah, I would say it is.
Yeah, pretty darn close, actually, if I do.
Yeah,
Wendy.
a little more of a pink undertone, but yeah, it pretty well is.
This is 38 Sea Serpent. So it's a little bit more, it's almost purpley, a little bit purpley.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah.
Is that a newer one?
Within the last couple of years, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Access Commodities imports all of these, of course, from Europe with the various people that they work with. And every once in a while, we get included traditional stitches, and some of our sister shops get included in product development through Access Commodities. So
really?
What colors are you missing? What colors would you like to see, and in what counts? So I love that part. Yeah, definitely. Okay, one more 38 count. This is Vermeer blue. Isn't that a pretty blue?
Yeah.
All right. So then I've got a couple here. So all of the different colors have different names with the legacy linens. Every single one has a different name. But sometimes they are dyed in color families. So there will be the same color in 30 count, 37 or 38 count, 45 count, and sometimes in the 53-63 count. So I have a couple of examples of color families here to show you. So this is 45 count woven sedge, which is kind of like natural. If you were looking for a 45 count linen that is in the natural raw color family, that's it. And then this one is the 53-63 in the same family. So anything that has a little bit different of a weave is going to have a somewhat different kind of color that it comes out as, but these are pretty similar. So some of you might be saying, okay, 53-63 is crazy count to stitch on. And I've done a little bit, but I would agree it's not in my most enjoyable range. But of course, you all know that my friend Jean Lee does a lot of that. So what thread do you use on 53-63? Well, you can use the Swasserfine thread, which we are both great fans of, the Gloriana Tudor Silk. And then if there's something that you want to use on it, I just encourage you to buy a small piece and do some test stitching. Do a small motif or a specialty stitch with DMC or your hand-dyed thread or whatever, and just see, because coverage is always a personal preference. And sometimes you like things to be nice and plump and thick, and sometimes you like them to be a little bit sparser. So yeah.
And by trying it a higher count with a cotton floss, you're going to discover different things like, yeah, it works. Coverage is really dense, but I need to have shorter lengths because it tears at my floss. Right. So it's workable, but you have to just work around it.
And so these legacy linens all come at least 71 inches wide on the bolt from selvage to selvage. So when you look at the price per inch, they're pretty darn, they go a long way.
They do. They're very economical. Yep. So.
Okay, so this next color family that I have is the one that we used for the Eliza Martha Linfoot sampler.
Right.
Now you're also going to look on your wall.
Yeah, I know where it is. I know where it is. Sort of. It's there somewhere. Oh, I don't know where it is. Doesn't matter.
Yep. So this is the 38 count version and the 45 count version. So the 48 is Filbert and the 45 is Nightingale. So the names have nothing to do with each other, but
no.
I would like to be on the name brainstorming list. Actually,
do
I do
too.
get to do that when we're doing
Oh.
product development. So
I think that would be fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is such an interesting color of linen. Like when we stitched Linfoot on it, it was
Yeah.
really interesting to see it come up. And the Linfoot sampler hangs on the wall in the shop, and it
Yeah.
is so different than anything else that we've done. But
I found it it almost morphed into different colors as you stitch different things. It was like a chameleon. And I found that really interesting. So sometimes it looks like a bit of a darker rose taupe, other times a brown, other times it has purple undertones. So it's really interesting.
yeah, so that's these guys, Filbert and Nightingale. And I think I did mine on 45 count Nightingale with the 100/3.
I did too.
Yeah. So those
Yeah.
charts and those kits are still available. We are busy kitting those kinds of things for our retreat in June, but I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay. Yes, I did find Eliza. She's behind a lamp.
Okay, so this is another really great color. It is 45 count foxtail millet.
Okay.
So yeah, just really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of golden.
Yeah, that's what it's picking up to be.
Good. I'm glad one thing's working. And then I have a few more of those 53-63 count linens that are so much fun. And you just order a wide 1/8 to play with, which still works out to be like an 18 by 18 cut. So we have lots of space to do things with.
Yeah.
So this is Gothic Ivory.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sicilian Marzipan. So just a little bit of a difference there, but not much.
Well, okay, it's a little more gray.
Yeah.
See that now.
Yeah, less bright, I think, a little bit.
Yes.
And then this is called Manuscript Vellum, and it is also one of those yarn dyes where the work and weft are a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you think about like old homespun kind of linens, but in the finer counts. And then this is one more color family. So we have 38 count Irish coffee, which is just a beautiful mocha-y color.
Yes.
It goes along with, oh, my label fell off. You remember what the 45 count version is? Because we use this for what sampler? Hang on.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, Irish coffee.
And you're saying that we used it for a sampler? I don't think we did. Because we did.
You know what? I think we offered it as a substitute maybe for this. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
38 count version, and then I have a huge bolt of the 45 count that I'm rustling here. So
okay. Yeah, I really like the color, but
yeah.
Or it's the name I like. I don't know.
Coffee.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something and I totally forgot. Doesn't matter. It might come back to me.
Yeah. So we like to offer the legacy linens as a substitute for hand-dyed linen when we're doing a stitch along, because not everybody likes hand-dyed linens. Some people prefer to have something that's solid. And also the price point is a little bit better on the solid color linens than the hand-dyed. So we appreciate that sometimes you got to think about that stuff. So yeah, we like to work with legacy linens and access quantities to come up with those alternates that way. So we had a bunch. I thought I would share them with you.
I know what I wanted to say. You were talking about how you wanted to try a higher count and just buy a small piece. And I'd seen last week somebody did one of the new Stacy Nash rabbits. What was her name? Maggie May. And she did it on a 53-63 or a high count, and it fit in the palm of her hand.
Oh, tiny.
Wouldn't that be delightful to buy a piece and try something that small and make just a tiny little? So those are options. So if you're afraid, for anybody listening to this, to try, pick a small chart and give it a try. Not a huge amount.
Not a huge commitment.
No, it isn't. It isn't. I've even been telling myself that, but someday.
Yeah, we'll go there. Let's pick a project that we're going to do on
Right.
5363 with some Swasserfine and
I have to channel Jean Lee then.
Yeah.
To just, yeah.
Cool. All right, so you can find all of the links to the fabric that I've featured in the video down below. And also they're in a special section on our website where you can see them. And there's plenty of stock of all of the ones that I've talked about. So if it's something that catches your eye, go ahead and place an order.
Yeah.
And we're pretty caught up in the shop right now. So it's just a few days kind of turn over for orders these days. Sometimes it's same day, but if it's fabric that needs to be cut, yeah. Alrighty, so now we're just going to talk quickly about plans. So after I get back from my time with Jeanette Douglas, the next thing that's going to be on our radar is the Stitch and Stash retreat in Edmonton. That's the third weekend in June, and it's going to be awesome. We're really looking forward to it. We're going to borrow a great big pickup with a topper on it, and I'm going to fill it with tubs and tubs of stock from the shop. And we're going to set up for the 4-day retreat there and just have lots of fun. So I've linked the Facebook group below. The retreat for 2024 is sold out, but the lady who does those retreats, ladies often do other smaller retreats in Alberta that are sometimes fun to join along with. And then shortly after we are in Edmonton in June, I'm sure she'll announce plans for 2025. So if it's something that you think you want to do, then watch the group so that you know when to register really quickly. Yeah. So I've been mentioning this a little bit, but I just want everybody who is coming to the retreat to know that advance orders are welcome and recommended, particularly kitting orders, because we can only take so much stock. I have to leave some back in the shop, but also we can only set up so much. So yeah, so loose stock of threads, DMC, Krynic, whatever is not coming along with us. Oh, excuse me. But you are very welcome to send us a list ahead that we can put together for delivery for you there.
Exactly. And it's not going to be like exactly like the shop type of thing. You can't do that, just like you said, just to, you know, reinforce what you said. But yeah, if people are watching this, please put in your orders and get it there. So you'll bring it there and deliver.
Yep.
So a better way.
We had a great time last year, so I'm anticipating that's going to be a fabulous weekend.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it's not work. So
yeah, well, and there you go. You get to visit with a lot of stitchers. You've got like-minded things. You're, you know, busy buying, selling, talking.
Yep.
All that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yep. And so other than that, while I'm away this coming next couple of weeks, the gals in my shop are holding down the fort and everything is going to just run as normal there. So come to our Friday, Saturday drop-in shopping days or place an order on our website is our preferred way. Or if that doesn't work for you, then by email or by telephone.
Perfect.
Yeah. So what, did you guys end up going camping that weekend?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We went out for about 4 or 5 days. And there was a bit of snow here, there was a lot of snow out there. We did find a place, and I was just getting over being sick. So I wasn't really feeling up to doing any hiking. And Rob was just starting to get sick. So it was good. We stayed mostly in the trailer and we, you know, stitched and read and played games and drank wine, and you know, it was good. It was rejuvenating, and I think everybody has to do that at least once in a while just to, you know, refuel.
Yep.
So, and yeah, the weather is kind of straightened out now, but yeah, and then in the near future, you know, whether we get any camping or not remains to be seen. So yeah.
Well, we did not go on our camping trip because the weather was so crummy. So we had crummy weather in Calgary, and then where the camping was, which is like an hour's drive away, the boys went out with the dirt bikes the day that we were going to go out anyways, and there was about 8 inches of snow in the area that we usually camp. So probably a good call. So
yeah, we didn't have as much snow as that. So just in that valley it wasn't as bad, but it was enough.
So we just had a birthday barbecue and it turned out great. So perfect.
Good, good. Well, you know, even the best laid plans go awry.
Yep.
Have
And
to
you
keep
just
that in
gotta,
mind always.
yeah, ebb and flow, make the best
Yeah,
of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So hopefully there's some camping in the not too distant future. So
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, I can see that. So,
Yeah.
good.
All right. So we haven't talked about what the date is going to be for filming our next video, but it'll be sometime around the 14th of June.
Mhm.
And that's just before we pack the shop up to go to the retreat. And so we'll get a chance to catch up then.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have another month under my belt and yeah, we can continue talking about Anne.
Yes. So month number 4 is pretty straightforward stitching. And so
It is. It is. So hopefully no questions, but that doesn't mean that people can't ask. So
Yes.
this is, I give everyone permission to put it, you know, in the Facebook page. I've sometimes had private messages, you know, I don't mind that, but at, you know, discretion of what time it might be. And, but if you still have questions about the house and the stitching of that, fire it away on the Facebook page. Someone will tell you how to do it.
Definitely. Okay. Well, thanks for your time, Rose.
Thanks, Janice.
We'll see you in a month.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.